Alright, what's going on YouTube family? So I thought I'd do a voiceover for this video. So you're going to see a back and chest workout with me and Kay. Kay's been training with me recently, kind of to get back in the flow of things. So anyway, we get into this workout. So we started with back, as you can see, we started with pull downs. This is my middle set. So we recorded one set of both of our exercises purely because we didn't want to make this video too long. So what we're doing at the moment is 3 sets of every exercise, and I'm working on a 10, 8 and then 6 rep basis. So this is my strength training workout for the week, and I'm splitting my workouts into 2 kind of sections during the week. So the first half of the week I'll train every single body part on a strength. The second half of the week I'll train every single body part again, but on a high rep, high intensity session. So this is a heavy session. So yeah, let's get into it. You've just seen 2 lat pull downs from myself and Kay. So that'll be the exercise that we started off on. Obviously we've done some warm-up sets and stuff prior to this, but that was the first heavy set. So we're now going into some T-bar rows. The importance of our training at the moment is that we're really trying to focus on the squeeze at the top. So if you can see, I'm not shifting my body at all. It's all the movement coming from my back, and I'm really trying to emphasize the squeeze at the top and hold that for a couple of seconds at the top. I've adapted this new kind of training style, and I'm feeling better, I'm feeling stronger, I'm feeling like I'm making so much more progress doing this, and that is the time under tension, contraction at the peak, contraction at the top of every single exercise, no matter what it is, whether that's back, biceps, legs, shoulders, whatever exercise you're training. I'm just purely focusing on the tension and the peak contraction at the top of the exercise. So we're now about to get into some not deadlift, sorry. We're doing some rows here. So as you can see, again, my back movement is just purely all pull movement, tiny squeeze at the top, and then controlled descent down. There's no movement from my body, because if I start moving from my body, it's taking the emphasis off my back, which is ultimately what we're trying to engage and lock in here. So you can see Kay doing the same thing. You can see us both, we've got belts on as well. I'm a big fan of using your belt throughout the workout. I feel a lot more comfortable with my belt, and also it helps your waist stay down during your off season as well. So again, it's probably our second set, I would imagine. So it's probably about an 8 range rep. Right, so here we're doing some deadlifts. As you can see, I've got 2 40s and 2 15s on each side here, plus the bar, so that's 80, 70, 140, about 160 deadlift there, which is quite comfortable for me. You'll see on the next one that I do a bit more heavier. Again, this is my 8 reps, so you want to be concentrating on here, so you don't want to be bending the back, lifting too much from your kind of lower back movement. You want it to all be one constant straight movement. If you're pulling before you kind of bring your upper body up, and you're just pulling the bar up with your upper back, it's going to give you back damage. So you need to really lift, focus on bringing the weight up with a good form on this, otherwise you are going to hurt yourself, guys. So start steady on this one. Don't pack the weight on unless you know your technique's good and you know you're not kind of emphasizing the bend over at the front, otherwise you're going to get some serious back problems. So here is about a 185, I believe, kilogram deadlift. This is probably a 6 rep set, I would imagine, judging by the weight. But again, it's all important on the technique. As you can see, I'm pulling from my lower back. I'm not bending over and really arching my back and trying to pull up from other parts of my body. It's all emphasis on the lower back. I'm driving up through my legs and then pulling up through my back. So now we're on to some reverse grip pull downs. Again, it's all about the long stretch at the top and the real squeeze in when you put it right down at the bottom. This is where you're going to really start to build your muscle, is when you're getting the peak contraction and also the peak stretch at the top as well. You're fully stretching that muscle fibre out. It's very important. Again, it's emphasis on the peak contraction at the bottom. A good way, if you've got a training partner, to test if your peak contraction is them to constantly tap their finger on where your muscle should be contracted. If the muscle loosens up at any point during the exercise, then you're letting the weight go. You're losing the momentum and you're not keeping the weight strapped onto you, so you're not going to be building any muscle when you've lost the tension. So that is a huge thing for me at the minute, the time under tension. And when you get that, your training, I guarantee you, will improve 110%. So now we're moving on to chest. I'm really trying to bring my upper chest up in the this off season. So this exercise here is on the hammer press. Now normally I would do double arms, both out together, but for this one I moved myself across. I find that it stops your shoulders coming into play a lot more if you can move your chest really under the hammer and then really squeeze and across your body, which is ultimately how you're going to build some bigger chest muscles. So again, peak contraction at the top, slow down, release, and coming up and really almost tensing that muscle at the top. That's the feeling I'm trying to get when I'm pushing this muscle up. But I absolutely love this exercise for isolation of the upper chest. After this session I was really quite sore, to be honest, so that's a really good exercise if you can hit that one, if you've got that at your gym. You can see Kay here, the camera wouldn't focus for some reason on this one, but you can see Kay, she's doing the double chest press, the same idea, but she probably won't have as much of a problem because she's a bit smaller than I am, so her back isn't going to be as wide, so her shoulders aren't going to come into play as much, so it's not a problem for me double-handed, but I really wanted to try and isolate the movement this time around, so I switched across. Okay, so we're now on to decline hammer machine. I don't do decline. This is probably the only exercise I've done this whole month. I've really been focusing on the upper chest because that's where my development is. I've not been hitting much decline. I've not been hitting much flat at all. I'll probably chuck a couple of exercises in during each month, but other than that, we're just hitting ultimately upper chest, which is where we want the growth, because my under chest is kind of overdeveloped and my upper chest is underdeveloped. So I'm kind of assessing the imbalances in me as well now, moving forward for next year. Again, it's a squeeze at the top. No matter what you're on, it's the peak contraction at the top that's going to build you that muscle. So make sure you're focusing on that when you're training. Okay, so now we moved on to barbell press. For me, this is a good builder exercise. I like the barbells more than I do the dumbbells, but obviously I'll use both sessions during different weeks. I use dumbbells, I use barbells. You know, you've got to vary it and keep your body guessing. Again, I don't want to go any lower than 90, so I stop at 90 and come up to the top, and again the squeeze. It's all about the pushing from your chest, not pushing from your shoulders, and really engaging your chest to get the most possible benefit you can from it. Okay, so now this is a kind of an exercise that I really like to use. It's the chest fly machine, but you put the seat up as high as it can go and you use one arm and you really pull that arm in across the chest, and you will really feel an upper chest kind of contraction and squeeze. It's a killer exercise, and if you do it properly you should find that there's a huge amount of contraction at the top when you do squeeze in. If you go too far you'll lose the contraction, so just mark that point and stop there every time and release slowly and control the release as well, to obviously keep the tension on your muscles. So again, on this one I'm doing 3 sets of 10 on here rather than the 3 sets of 10, 8, 6 reps. So I'll do 3 sets of 10 reps on these, and I'll do that with all my flies throughout the week, more because flies isn't really a mass builder exercise. It's more going to be for your definition and things like that. So it's going to be keeping the volume reasonably high on your any fly exercises that you do. That's what works best for me. Some people may say differently, but that is what works ultimately the best way for me. So that will be the flies. And then I'll finish up with some shrugs as well. I prefer to train shrugs on back days. So that'll wrap up this video. So I hope there's been a few little bits that you can pick up from the voiceover. I will do some more voiceovers and stuff as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And I'll see you on the next video, guys.